Tiffany's quilting knife. Today, I will show you how to long arm quilt. I'm going to do all the quilting. Just kidding. I am going to do all the quilting. Hi guys, Tiffany here. Today is Sunday, Sew Sunday, where I hope to inspire you to sew or quilt on a Sunday. Today I'm using the quilting part because, and I'm sorry you're bouncing, you're on the long arm. I got to remember not to touch it. So today's Sunday, Sew Sunday, and I'm going to long arm quilt today because we do not want to go into my quilting room because I have a bunch of stuff that's being filmed all at the same time and it's kind of just everywhere. It is blown up in there, and I repeat, do not want to start yet another project in the disaster that's already currently there. So yeah, I figured, well, this was already sitting here for like a week now. I threw it on here after my last quilt and I haven't touched it. I just left it here and I was like, well, I got to get to it eventually. So why not today for Sew Sunday? So that is what I am doing, is quilting the double churn dash from the Open Gates quilt box. So I'm going to grab my computer. I set it to the side so I can see who's all here. And I'll just leave you guys in this place for now. And don't mind me. You're not going to see me this video. You're going to see the quilt. But I'm dressed for Arizona weather. It is hot here. I'm sweaty. I'm tired. And that's what the heat does. It just makes us sweaty and tired. So 2 seconds. All right, let's see who's here. Let's see if I can just put this up here.
There's a lot.
We got, I'm just going to scroll through quickly, like Lori, Paula, Delia, Milena, let's see, Jacqueline, and it has not, oh, there it goes. Now it refreshed. Lori, I said that. Where we got? Mary, Anita, Angela, Line, Tamala, Kay Watson, Kitty, Shirley, Sandra, Nanette, Tamala, Teresa Louise, June, Maya, I think that's what that is pronounced as, but if I got it wrong, I'm sorry. Michelle, Teresa, Crystal, Mona, Sharon, Francis, Nancy, Sherry, Zella, Diane, Dawn, Tanya, Marianne, Tracy, Teresa, Felice, Becky, Jill, Barbara, Tracy, Stacy, Doris, the Quilting Lady, Dee, Joyce, Melissa, Donna, Susan, and Heather, and Donna, and Michelle, and okay, I think I got it. There's so many more, it just keeps going, guys. All right, so welcome everybody. The cat's, he's up here. He says, I do want a long arm quilt, but I just want the thread only. Because that's all he does. When I put the bobbin in down here, if it has a long enough tail, he'll jump up and just smack at it until he can pull down on it. He's a silly kitty. All right, guys. So that was Thumper, my cat, taking a visit for you guys.
Well,
all right.
I already saw him at the beginning.
Yeah. I'm going to take a drink of water. Highly important to hydrate, especially when you're standing here in long arm quilting and it's summertime. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the quilt and then put you on the frame. If we can get it here. All right. Happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there and all of you mothers acting as fathers. Just thought I'd say that real quick. So this is the double churn dash quilt. I'm going to be using my Natalia Bonner 4-in-1 ruler with this quilt today. Those are the fabrics up close and personal. I did put this together in a video Hey, Becca. All right, you guys are going on the mounts. It's going to get a little shaky for a second, and there it goes. You are now on the long arm. All right, so I'm using a white thread, so I don't know. I mean, you'll see the stitching sort of, but not sort of, because it is cream, I think, is the color, or linen. Linen. I am using linen from my glide thread. But the first thing I need to do is baste this. I have not done that yet because I threw it up here, and like I said, it's been sitting here for a week. So I'm going to go ahead and baste this down, which is just a stitch along the top and down the sides to hold it nicely. I'm using an 80-20, 80% cotton, 20% polyester batting in this. It was a nice big chunk I had in my scraps of batting. I'm trying to keep my line nice and straight along with my, because you can see, here's my thing. My backing fabric is a checker. I do have my ruler base on here, so it's going to hit my head clamps at top. And you can see it trying to like yank my top because it gets stuck. Here's the side clamp right here. It gets stuck on the ruler base. I definitely need to get a different clamping system for this because of that. It really, really bothers me. So I'm gonna invest in a flat clamp instead, but I'll do that later. I don't need to get that done right now, but just so you know, watch for that. Hit the next one and brought it up. If you're curious about the machine I am using a King Quilter Elite Special Edition. It's King Quilter Elite 2, I should say. And the special edition part just means I have a bigger screen than most people. I'm pretty sure of it because there's nothing different about a regular King Quilter Elite besides the fact that it has a small screen on the front.
What subscription box is this from?
This is from the Open Gate Quilts subscription box. I'm gonna come right here and then I'm gonna break thread because I'm gonna start with stitching in a ditch. And then I'm gonna get to work on just, I don't know, because I kind of have an idea of what I want to do and then I kind of don't. Is the commands working?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah, they weren't there.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with stitching in the ditch around this right here. And I'm almost at my halfway point here, so I'm just going to drop my needle. I'm going to tie it off. What I was getting at with my machine is if you guys are interested in looking at a machine like this, you can find it at SewingMachinesPlus, which is in the description of my video, and or you can just type in explanation SMP and it takes you to Sewing Machines Plus. They don't just sell this, they sell all sorts of them. All right, so I'm using my ruler. I'm kind of quilting to the red side so that you guys could see the thread. It's like not perfect. I'm trying to stitch in the ditch, but.
Just put a yardstick from the front to the back. They say that it elevates the clamps so you don't hit them.
Okay. I have a yardstick. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right here. We're gonna grab this big, huge yardstick and see if it helps. I've seen lots of people do it, but I have not done it.
Oh, that. Okay, I could have done better.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't want it to fall. All right, so I'm still stitching in a ditch. Sort of. I'm on the red side of the ditch, if you can't tell. Or at least I'm trying to be on the red side of it. what?
Did the yardstick work?
I have no idea. It seems to be kind of on top. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to tie off right here like this, and then I'm just gonna skip over to this side and do the same exact thing, going back the other direction, and I'll trim away all those connector threads later. My stitch in the ditch is absolutely horrible. I'm not very good at it. I try to aim for something and I never get it. I'm so off on it. Always have been. No big deal. It's just a wall hanging from my house. See, I always end up in the ditch and I try to stay on the red side. It's gonna look funny after a while. Oh well. It's not in it anyway now. Goes in and out. Yeah, I'd have to have 2 yardsticks because this other side is definitely still hitting.
Do you want me to get another yardstick?
No, I'm
We'll have
fine.
another one.
No, because I'll forget it's there and then I'll walk right into it. I'm just gonna work with it.
Okay.
It's no big deal. Yeah, that yardstick isn't working for me. All right, so I need to do something in this outer edge, and I was thinking of just doing a flower. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna like draw with my finger right here and see flower.
One of the quilters at Baby Love says they stitch in the neighborhood. They stitch in the neighborhood.
No, I don't want to go that way. I don't want to do that flower. Maybe I will do, let's see, hold on. And I don't want a heavily quilt right here. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. We're going to do like an in and out type thing. You'll see right now. And I'll try to end my last one connecting to where I'm starting it right here. Okay.
You could use curtain rods instead of the yardstick, one lady says.
I'm just going to get a flat hook one of these days. Very shortly soon. All right, so I'm going to come in and make just a little tiny feather droopy. I know you guys can't really see that very good. Sorry, I had to remove it. It's just annoying. All right, and I'm going to go up into this corner with a bigger one and then make my way down the other side. Just alternating directions. And it got stuck on this
Can you
one.
use any ruler you want?
Huh?
Can you use any ruler you want?
Yeah, I can use whatever ruler I want with my quilting. And it hit the bottom one. Just remove them and then I'll add them back when I go to do everything else. And then I'm going to stop right here, tie it off, because the border is completely separate from everything else, and you kind of can't even see my stitching. Let's see, will it focus on it? Nah. All right, I'm going to advance it and move on to inside of the big, huge on-point triangles.
want me to roll it?
No, I got it.
Okay. I can easily do that.
Just need to go to about right here. And get them in my throat space.
Is the roller you're using the same one you did on the Halloween quilt?
Yep, this is the Natalia Bonner 4-in-1 piece and quilt. You can see it right here, piece and quilt. Ruler.
Oh, yeah, it's the same
Yep,
one.
it's the same one from the Halloween video. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is heavily quilt, which I'm gonna take the arch side of this ruler and then this big open triangle space right here, and I'm gonna start right here on this side, and I'm gonna make my way to the other side, making the arch all the way from one side to the other, and then I'm gonna come back the opposite way. So I'm going to be cross hatching, but in a archy kind of manner, in the arch. But first, I'm going to find out why my bobbin is stuck. Oh, it's because I'm out. Duh. I knew it wasn't a full bobbin. All right. See what happens? It gets tangled on there. I try to just yank it off. Get it off of there. Okay, put bobbin in. Test the tension. Oh, it's perfect. And put it in the thing. And the cat is not coming up to jump in and grab the thread, which is kind of funny. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is just start my curves. So I'm tying my thread off right here. I'm going to start my curves here, and then what I'll do is come back with a stitch in the ditch, because I'm going to just be going back and forth. So I'm going to start with one right here on the edge. And then I'm going to move up about right here. It's going to be a little challenging because of these darn things. Let's go up a little bit higher. I want them to be about third notch. This might take me a while. Third notch. Right here. It's going to be slightly curved at first. So they're an inch apart, so it's a quarter from here, and then there's a quarter here and a quarter, an inch apart. Just lining up that line. I'm not very good at eyeballing. This takes me a minute. Yep, I can do it. I'm going to just pretend I'm stitching in a ditch. And the further I go, the further that my line will be, but I'm just going to make sure I always end that third line right here on the two ends, because the center is going to bow further and further as I go. So as long as the ends lined up. It's going to take me a while. There. There. talking to myself as I go. I never said I was a perfect quilter, so it might be a little on the sloppy side. All right, now to go this way, because I'm kind of making my way around. There. Some of these I'm going to be guessing my markings because I can't fit the ruler all the way up there. As you can see, the ruler does not fit. Not even either. And it's gonna hang in my house, okay? No big deal.
That looks good, honey. You're doing well.
Yeah. Comes about right here. I'm just being creative. That's all I'm doing. That's the goal. Just be creative and have fun with it. Not too far. Putting my thing on the side, which I absolutely hate. Moving that darn thing. In my other videos, I make it look a lot easier. But I'm struggling today. Okay, we're gonna go back the opposite way now. And I think it's gonna.
It looks amazing.
Hopefully cross. We're gonna go to each. No, this is wrong. It's supposed to cross. I'm gonna pop those out real quick. It's supposed to go the other way. I kind of just like it spinning though too. I don't know if I want to go back the other way. I might just advance the quilt and go all the way around like this instead of.
I think it looks cool.
Going the other way with a crosshatch because it's not crossing like I would have thought it would. Alright, I'm going to pop these extra stitches out real quick because I don't like it. Now I'm going to advance the quilt and go around all the way with this just curvy look. How about that? I think that'll be better. All right. I have to base the sides real quick. I like to baste my sides down, even though the fabric is held in place by the cotton batting. I still prefer to baste. Keeping it nice and tight, because I don't baste the whole little quilt all at once. I know a lot of people go through and baste the whole thing real quick. I don't do that. Okay. Well, getting stuck on things. Such a wonderful thing. Funny thing is, I've been doing this on this machine for 4 years now, and it's like now it really frustrates me after all this time. It never bothered me at first that the side clamps get stuck, but now it bothers me all the time.
Why don't you baste it all at once?
I don't baste it all at once because I think it's a hassle to have to go back and through and rip all those stitches out. I just rather do it like this. All right, so I'm gonna struggle to get the ruler in here.
They're amazed how patient you are, how calm you stay.
Oh yeah, I try to stay calm. That's the whole, you know, you need to do that when you're working
Somebody
on.
said she'd be on her second bottle of tequila. That's pretty good.
That is funny. Hoping that's enough to go all the way. I don't have much of a throat space. I'm an 18-inch machine, so I have to make do with the space that I have. So there's a lot of adjusting and movement going on. That sound is because I have the ruler hitting tightly against the bar. Shouldn't do that now. Maybe it's the heat. Maybe the heat is why I'm having issues today.
You're doing very well. Take it easy. Keep on trucking.
Oops. All right. Go back to this side now and keep going all the way around with my sideways things. And let's hope that I can fit the ruler here, which we're going to pretend it fits. A little bit more. So this is going to take a little bit of patience right here to do this because of the positioning. I'm actually going to be hanging it on the walls of the quilt that I call the block on my wall. Kind of sure moving a lot today.
Have you seen the red snappers for the sides of your quilt that they came out?
They're little snappers for the side. I think I've seen them. I was just gonna get there's another company that makes a little side clamp I was gonna look into. It's the same concept as what I have, what those are, the red snapper one. Come on, right there, right there.
They like watching
You like watching me what?
you whiz the ruler.
I'm not whizzing it around as I usually do. Usually I'm really fast at it, but because I'm doing this curve and then going sideways on like I'm going in a diagonal motion, I typically choose to use the ruler so I don't whip it around as fast when I'm trying to get that lined up, you know. We're going to start going this way. See, like, I try to stay in the ditch, but it's really hard to stay perfectly in the ditch at an angle like that. I don't blame anybody if they can't do it with nice straight lines, because I definitely can't. And I've been doing this for 4 years, and I still can't go on the diagonal in a ditch. Very good. I go super slow, or I just use the ruler. It's the whole purpose of whipping it around, I guess. Rather just go like that. It's easier. Come on, up there. The only thing I don't like about ruler work is because I have arthritis in my hands, and it definitely is killer moving and holding these rulers. And some people have thought of different ways, like using pop sockets and all sorts of ways to hold the rulers. And they say, don't hold them tight or don't do this. It's hard not to hold it tight because you need to keep it steady. And it's hard to just lay your hand flat on it. So like I've tried holding rulers all sorts of different ways, and I definitely struggle. All right. I'm just going to tie it off right here, and then I'm going to come right here and stitch all the way around this, and then I will get to the other corner, and then I will go all the way the other way after I advance the quilt back the opposite way. Leave it right there. I'm not even going to put my side clamps back on. I'm just going to leave them off. They do give the quite a bit of tension though to prevent wrinkles, but since I've already quilted the area. What?
What if you take a small weight on it? Would that help?
A small weight on what?
Whatever you want.
My stitch in a ditch kind of sucks. All right. I'm going to stitch this way now. And stitch this way now. There, come back there, go here, come back there. What are you laughing at?
Dale said when I try to do a bit of quilting on a domestic machine, it looks like as crooked as a dog's hind leg.
That's funny. So I'm going to go here, there, here, there. And now I'm going to re-advance the quilt. The things you got to do when you have only a certain amount of space.
I could be there turning it for you back and forth. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I got it. Okay. All right, I definitely need a side clamp because it's kind of like puffing in the middle. I'm also trying not to go too fast because I realize that the camera is shaking pretty badly today. It usually is like nice and tight in the holder. But today it is not. I don't know why. All I have to do is this one, and now I'm going to backtrack and go in here back down here, so on and so forth, till this whole center is going to be double stitched. Because all I'm doing is stitching in the ditch. I could have done this on the domestic machine. I'm not going to be able to reach right there. Let's see. Let's go back, down, over. Stitched right there. Let's go this way. I'm going to create that there.
That there.
Put that there.
That fire.
Go up. I didn't stitch right here yet.
What's the ruler called?
This is the 4-in-1 Piece and Quilt. Can you see right here? Piece and Quilt by Natalia Bonner for pieceandquilt.com. The 4-in-1 ruler. Do I want something in these guys? I kind of do.
Do you have an affiliate to buy rulers?
Hmm?
Do you have an affiliate place to buy rulers?
No.
Oh.
I mean, they sell them at SewingMachinesPlus. All right, let's see. Oops, that was totally wrong. Oh well, I'm just gonna keep going. There we go, that's correct. And I'm gonna leave the sloppy one alone. Oh, now I need to go back through all these. I have to, I stitched, stitched, stitched.
Do you plan your quilting ahead or do you just go?
I kind of just go with the flow when I'm quilting. No real, I stitched there already. No real plan. I kind of just do whatever. I make it up as I go. Unless it's a client quilt, then I definitely have, you know, pre-plan everything for the most part. Sometimes I don't, but yes, I'm double stitching in some areas. Alright. Do I want to do these same thing? Yes, I do. Problem with that is I need to just break thread. Because I can't reach them all in my throat space and I don't want to tack over it again. It's fine though. I probably should have done it while I was going around the first time. That's fine. Then I have one more to do, and then all I have to do is finish the border. But I gotta tack down the bottom of the quilt as well. And then this little wall hanging will be done. All right, let's get that.
How long did it take you to feel like you were a confident longarmer?
For confident enough to do what, client quilts?
I don't know.
I felt confident the day I started on a long arm. I don't know what it was. I just felt confident enough to do it because I free motion quilted my first year on really cruddy machines. On one of the Kenmores I had, the feed dogs didn't even drop. As you can see, I messed that little guy up, but I don't care. Still is the same thing I was looking for. Yeah, I felt confident right away. I didn't start quilting for people though right away. I was already making quilts for people, and then only a couple got thrown on the initial frame that I had. All right, I'm gonna stitch around the outside of this one first. So I'm gonna go where I stopped, go down to my throat space where advance the quilt. So I'll go around this first and then I'll come back and do the last of it, and I'll just remove my ruler base because I haven't even stitched down here yet, and tack that down.
Did you take classes on a longarm or did you just figure it out?
I just figured it out, no classes.
Do you ever worry about breaking stitching a bit?
Breaking what?
Piecing threads.
I don't think it will because I have all my seams pressed to one side. instead of open, so I'm not worried about opening them up. That's not to say I haven't gotten quilts for other people that have had open seams and I've had to seal them as I'm quilting, because I've had to do that before. And I've had one myself too, but that was an accident and I ran out of thread and never knew it, I think, while I was stitching it together. It happens all the time. It happens if you pick them up all the time too. You move that quilt all the time and show it off as a top. You take the chances of lots of your seams falling apart before it even makes it to a quilter or to you quilting it. All right, now I'm going to base the bottom and then remove my ruler base and go all the way around the bottom edge, which I don't need a ruler base to do. All right, let's base the bottom real quick. I'm gonna put both my clamps on so that it holds this nicely.
Does yours have a stitch regulator?
Yes, this has a stitch regulator, and I have it at 10 stitches per inch in precision mode. Well, right now it's in basting mode, but I usually stitch in precision mode. I do manual sometimes where there's no stitch regulator. That's just me, but I don't do it very often because I stitch faster than the machine, so I keep myself at a nice pace if I just use precision and get 10 stitches per inch every time. The reason why I'm pulling just to flatten it a little as I go. It's pretty square. And I didn't put the clamp on this side because I wasn't paying attention. There we go. I usually do a second stitch, but I'm not going to do that today. Just gonna do that, and then I need to backtrack it just to do a couple stitches. There's a lot of movement in this frame today with just a little tiny project too. It's funny. I think it's only like 30 inches or 28 inches. I'm just gonna stop right there. I'm gonna put my needle down where I stopped the thread earlier. Just tack it and finish doing these. And I'm not lining up with a corner, which kind of sucks because I'm going to get enough for a little guy right here. That way the corner doesn't look too weird.
So good pressing makes it easier to quilt in the dish?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, pressing it good helps. Making sure your quilt is nicely pressed helps everything. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna put a little guy right here. Back. Just alternating direction. They're not all the same size either. I'm gonna advance so that I can try to meet right up where I ended off in this first place.
Is your quilt red and white or is it what? Isn't it brown?
No, it's red and white.
Oh, okay. My parents said, wow, gorgeous. I love red and white quilt.
All right, so I gotta try two, I guess two of these should make it, okay. Well, I'm just going to kind of, I guess I'll pluck those stitches out. I'll meet them up like that. And I'll pluck the excess stitching out real quick because they didn't land both opposite directions. Which is fine, no big deal. That's what seam rippers are for. It's hard for me to get a tail too because I have really long nails right now.
They like your nails.
Yeah, they're Ferrari red. I've never named my machine, but I always call it the Ferrari for the Juki. All right, I did that, I did that, I did that one, I did that. 1, 2, 3, 4, did that. I like to make sure and go through that I did everything before I remove it from the frame. Okay, looks like it's all done. It's kind of sloppy, but I don't care because it's going to be hanging on the wall and nobody's ever going to see it. So I'm going to take you guys off of this real quick. Move you.
There's kind of a confusing one. I do a lot of machine embroidery and I was taught fabric shrinks, not thread. What do you do in the instance of having squares with embroidery on them for a quilt? If that makes sense.
I wouldn't know because I haven't done a bunch of squares yet for embroidery and washed a quilt made with them yet. I haven't done that yet, so I don't know. That would be a question for people that make quilts out of embroidery. All right, I am going to, shoot, I didn't bring a stand out here.
Do you want me to go get it?
Please.
Yep. I'm on it.
All right, guys.
I'm on it.
He's going to grab a stand for the mount for this. I'm not taking you in the room to trim this quilt. There's no way. We're going to trim it right here on the living room floor with scissors because when I first started quilting, I just used scissors only. So,
okay, where would you like the mount? Is the question.
All right, guys. Just gonna put you right here. You can watch me trim it. Sorry the camera's moving, but I'm just gonna stick you in a secondary mount. You could stare at my nose for a second. At least there's no boogies. Not that I know of. I don't see any. Would it be weird of me to look into the camera to make sure? Just kidding. Okay. Here it is. We're just gonna get on the floor and trim it.
Can I help?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Like that.
It's a pretty square quilt, so I'm just gonna stay right here at the edge.
How did you find out you had MS?
I was diagnosed with MS 22 years ago.
How did they find it? They give you an MRI.
Oh, an MRI and a spinal tap.
Yeah, lady asked because her brother has to have an MRI to find out if he has.
Hoi! Don't mind me. Tank top and boxers. I didn't think I would be on camera today.
Yeah, but you made those boxers in a video for them. Those are the
Yeah.
tie-dyed ones.
Yeah.
you normally cut that on your thing with your rotary cutter?
Yeah, I usually cut with a rotary cutter. This is just me not wanting to go into that room because it's a disaster. I'm telling you, it's really bad right now. It's a good thing I did my room tour when I did. That way that's done and out of the way. Because now it definitely is not clean at all.
Okay, Sandra makes quilts with embroidery blocks. She says she washes it in cold and air dries it, cotton fabric and round thread, and she drapes the wet quilt over patio chairs in the shade. She has no shrinking of anything.
Good, that's good. All right. Ugh. I'm just going to put you right
Do you want me to hold that
there.
so you can hold the quilt?
All right, guys. Tighten this
Why not?
so that you can see my little quilt. I kind of like that I didn't go around it the opposite way. I like the way it turned out. So you can really see the quilting and it looks like it's spinning around. I like that. And you can see around my border because the lighting helps you see that. I'll turn it again so that you can see. The lighting allows you to see the border. And it's going to get bound with this fabric right here because that's what I have left. This is what the back looks like. It looks really cool actually. So it's like tablecloth material. It's just a cotton fabric, but it looks like a tablecloth. That part will never be seen because it'll be hanging on the wall. So it's going to go in replacement of that one. So it's going to go right there. That's where it's going to go. Isn't it adorable? I love it.
I think it looks good.
Yep. And this little thing has 15,493 stitches in it. And it took 26 minutes.
Tell me about your room tour video. That you have one.
Oh, for those that are asking, I had a room tour video just a couple days ago. It came out. And that's it. It's just a tour of my room. The next one I'll do is for cutting because I know I've got a lot of questions on that, and it was in the works. I just can't do it just yet because I had client stuff that has to get done. Like I literally cannot keep putting it off and procrastinating because I don't feel good. I'm just gonna not feel good and get it done. So, all right, that's it. I'm done. It's done. Today's video is not very long. It seems like it's only been an hour.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to go ahead. Anybody have any questions about my machine? It's King Quilter Elite 2 Special Edition. This is what makes it a special edition. Yeah, that's it. My cute little quilt. I'm going to bind it when I get a chance. It's probably going to sit in a pile for like 3 weeks until I'm done with other projects. But it'll get bound and then put away. Or it'll get hung up there with in replacement of that one. I have to put I'm just going to put a tiny little sleeve hooks on the ends so that I can run the, what is that stuff called? Binder twine is what that one's hung up with. Yep. I'm going to run binder twine through the back of it because that's how this one's hung, and I'd rather just it go in the same holes that are already up there. So that's it. That's all I got. It's adorable, even though it's sloppy, but it's my sloppy.
She's done with all her cutting.
Who?
Becca wants you to know.
Okay, so am I, Becca. So am I. All right.
Well, do you take medicine for your MS?
I was on medicine prior to 2020, and then in 2020 I got sick with valley fever, and I had to stop taking my medicine, and I haven't been on it since because I've been super scared. Like really super scared that if I go back on MS medication that it's going to affect the valley fever, and then I'm gonna have to go get my lung chopped off. And I really got to get over that fear. But you know, I've been talking with my doctor, getting it figured out to go back on. Just waiting.
Okay, how did you manage to keep the plaid so straight?
The plaid straight? I loaded it straight. I loaded it on the long arm from selvage to selvage. So I literally loaded it on the long arm with the selvage right here, this along my, and then the other one up there, and I just kept it straight because that's pretty much straight. So, and then I just rolled it up and kept everything as flat as I could. That's why it's straight. So I wished I could have, you know, had it at an angle. That kind of would have been cool, but I can't load at an angle on the long arm. I would have had to add sides to it, and it just been too much work. So is that it? Anybody else have any questions?
It's only been an hour. You can answer a question.
Oh, I don't want to sit on here anymore.
Oh, yes, you do.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get off of here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Sew Sunday. It's not very long. Usually I try to go for 2 hours, but look at that. I finished quickly. So thanks, guys, for watching, and thanks for hanging out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share my video, and don't forget to check out my quilting friends that are in the chat right now. They all have channels. If you type explanation Becca, explanation Teresa, and all that stuff, you'll get links to their channels. Go check them out, subscribe, and that's it. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Button work.
Button work.